Hi all. Today we are going to see the Power BI interview question which is asked in Accenture for round 2. We have already seen the round 1 interview questions with the relevant answer. Today we are going to see the round 2 interview question with the respective answer. We can see one by one. So the first question is how to convert the number into date format. The number which we need to convert is this one. So how will you convert this? So for this, we can go to Power BI and desktop. Here, I have already updated the number here. So normally what we will be thinking is we will be clicking on the respective column here and we will be going to this data type and we'll be converting into date. But that doesn't work. It throws an error. So how we can resolve this is we can just go and click on this transform data. This view will be opening. Go to this add column, click on the respective column where we need to convert the number into date format. Click on that. Click on this column from example from selection. From this selection, we need to get the date, right? So click on that. It automatically generates a column here. Double click on this blank space. So here we can see there are a number of date formatted date had been displayed here. This is the date which we required, right? Here we can see the date is 29, 06 is the month and the year is this one. So just we can click on this format, date format, and we can click on OK. It will automatically generate a date formatted column here. So once it is done, we can click on this close and apply. It will create a date column here. Just click on apply change. So this column, we can use it for our reference wherever we are referring to the date. So this is how we can give an explanation for this question. Next question is, we have name column in table which contains first and last name, which is Benjamin Smith. For example, I have given here how we can get only the last name from this existing column through DAX function. So for example, we need to get only this last name, Smith. Smith is the last name. So in Power Query Editor, we can achieve it easily, but they are asking us to explain it in DAX function. So I have already specified this DAX function here. What I did is we can see how we can explain to interviewer. So what I did is I have created a new column here. I have already created a column with this sample text which I have provided in the PPT, Benjamin Smith. And I am creating a new column here with this DAX function. So we can see what is the explanation for each and every variable and what it is returning. It returns me the last name, which is correct, but we can see how I have attained this. So first variable, it gives me the length of the text which we have, and the next variable, it search for the hyphen, the position of that hyphen, and the last name variable which captures the I have given the right DAX, right DAX function. Right DAX function, it returns the specified number of character from the end text. From end, it captures the respective value, like length minus search, whatever the value it's there, it provides me the value. According to that, I am getting the last name here. I'm returning this last name here. So in Excel, I will explain this. I have this column, right? First and last name, which have this value. So in length variable, I'm calculating the length of this text. So the length of this text is 14. And in next variable, I'm searching for the position of this hyphen, right? That is 9. So in right DAX, I need to specify the number, right? From where, it should return the specified number of characters from the right, from the end of the text. So we need to specify the number, right? What we need to do is we need to uh, take this length of the value and minus the search, that is 9, and we will be getting this 5. So this 5 will be specified here. Length minus search is 5. So whatever the value which is available after hyphen, right, it will generate me the value. So that is our last name. So this is how we can explain in interview. This is how we will be generating our last name. So this is what the answer for this question which they have asked. So we can see what is the next question. What are all the possible ways of calculating division in DAX? So we can say front slash we can use, division function we can use, and a variable, through variable also we can use this DAX functions. So like this we can give an explanation. The next question is how we can extract only the number from the below mentioned column and create a new column. So if we can see in the below column, we have text and a dollar value. So they are telling we need to extract only the numbers like 1,500. How we will be extracting it. So I have already created a column here as a amount column which has the text value like RS and a dollar value also. So what we need to do is we need to go to transform data and we need to click on this respective column here and go to add column, click on column from example, click like we have selected this one, no? Click from selection. It will generate a column. So this method is already we have done for date the same thing we need to apply that logic. So here we need to extract only the number, right, apart from RS. So we can just specify 1,000 here. Apart from dollar, we need to extract only the numbers. We need to specify only the numbers. So we need to click OK here, generates only the column and the value here. So wherever RS is there, it will leave the RS and it will extract only the value. Wherever dollar is there, it will leave only the dollar and it will extract only the number here. So wherever in the I have specified only two value here, but in real case, if we have any value with RS, it generates only the value, and wherever dollar is there, it generates only the value instead of dollars. So after that, we can click on close apply, and it will get generated as one more column will be generated here. So this is how we can explain this question as well. Next question is display the color only for the highest sales in the visual through DAX function. So what they are asking us to do is we need to highlight only the highest sales. Rest of the sales we need to highlight in a different color. So we need to highlight only that respective highest sold value. So I have written a DAX. So I will give an explanation in Power BI. In measure, what I have written is I have written two variables. One is to capture the max value, and one is to color the max value. So max value, how we can capture this? We can write max x, and in the bracket, within the bracket we can give the all function to freeze the table. So here I'm freezing the product table. In product table only I am having the product name and with the sales. I'm freezing that product table and I'm giving the total measure. So in this product table, whatever the highest sales is there, it will get captured and it will be storing in max underscore variable. So I will show the variable how it will get stored. So if you can see here, I have displayed product name here, total sales measure here, and the max sales. If I sort this total sales, the max sold product is kitchen products. So the kitchen product, total sales is 4,51,000. So that 4,51,000, that is the max value, right? That is getting stored in max variable here. So next variable is color. So what I'm saying is if total sales, this is the measure. If you can see here in the table, this is a measure. If that measure is equal to max sales, so this is if this is equal to max sales, I need to generate a green color, or else it should be a gray color. Like that I have specified. You can see that also in color variable how it will get generated. So yeah, I am capturing the max value with the total sales. If it is equal to max value, it will get displayed as green, or else it will be gray. So that is what it is getting displayed. So the same how it will get displayed here in the column chart. We can see how we can do that. We can go to this format of your visual by clicking this bar chart, column chart. Go to this color, click this F function, go to this field value, click on this calculated measure, click on this max sales, click OK. So if you can see here, the max value it will be in a green color, and rest all it will be in a green color. So this is what the explanation which we can give for this fifth question, how we can color the highest sales. The next question is how to optimize your report if we have a huge data. So we can list it out all these points, whichever it's been listed out here, we can see one by one. So first point is calculated column can be pushed to the back end. So whatever the calculated column which is available in the front end, we can push those calculated column to the back end. And if you have any complex model, we can try to keep to this star schema level, and avoid many-to-many relationship. And we can disable this auto date time intelligent function setting, which is there in Power BI desktop. So when we enable this function setting, right, whenever we are importing the data, it auto generates a calendar table in the back end, and it occupies some space. So instead of that, we can disable it, and we can create our own calendar table. Then, if the next point is, if we have a for us to generate a single value, if we have a multiple measure, so if we create a multiple measure, it is not a optimized way. So we can use that multiple measure in a variable level to derive the single value. So we can use this optimized technique. Next point is we can use this divide dax function instead of using the front slash while using the divide calculation. And we can avoid using custom visuals, and we can delete the unwanted column in a Power Query editor level. So the whichever column which we are not using for reporting, right? For those columns, we can delete it in the Power Query editor level, or whenever we are importing the data, and there itself we can restrict the columns with whatever the column which we require, only those column we can import it, and we can use those in our reporting. Then use apply all slicer. For this, I'll give an explanation. So there are three slices here. So whenever we are selecting for category, I'm selecting this, it is getting filtered. And again in customer ID, I'm clicking, again it is getting filtered. So whenever I'm clicking here, it is going to the report, and it is generating. Basically, my requirement is I need to click this category and the customer ID. So I need to see the customer count ID here for the respective category. So this is my requirement. Instead of clicking each and every time these two, this slicer and this slicer, we can go to insert, and we can go to button, click on apply all slicer. So whatever the slices which we need to select, and we need to derive this value, right? So we need to select the slicer, category, I need this one, customer ID, this one, and only once we can click this. Or if I click on these two slicer, no, it will not get filtered here. Only when I click on this apply all slicer, it will get filtered here. So this is one of the optimized way to use this apply all slicer. This one we can mention, and use the performance analyzer. So this one is to know how our report is performing, where our report is like DAX function is optimized or not. So though, for that purpose, we can use this performance analyzer. Only keep necessary visuals. So only the necessary visuals we can keep instead of answering one of the question which client have asked. If we have 2, 3 visuals to answer one question. So that is not the optimized way. Try to restrict with the less visual to answer those questions which client have asked, and avoid bidirectional relationship in your data model. So these are the optimized technique which we can inform in interview. The next question is, how do you know if your client have viewed your report or not? So for to answer this question, we can go to workspace and we can go to our report. This is our report. Click on this ellipsis, click on this view usage metrics. So once if we click on this view usage metrics, we can view this dashboard. Here we can see the username who like client have viewed or not, their name will be displayed here, how many times they have opened. So here it is blank, but here the names will be displayed and which date and who have displayed, how many times they have opened the report. So this is how we can explain this question. The next question is, if we have two fact tables, we don't share any relationship between those tables, but we need to get the distinct count of a customer ID from those tables. How to achieve it in DAX? So if they are asking simply without any DAX means, we can achieve this by using the append in the Power Query editor by appending it. But in DAX, how we can do is, so actual is a fact table and forecast is one more fact table. So they are saying it is been disconnected. It doesn't have any relationship. In that case, what we need to do is we need to append it. So in that case, what we can do, we can use this union operation. So union, open the bracket, select the column. If we have this column, right? The customer ID column we can specify from this table, and select column again we can update, and we, in this table I need this customer ID. So from these two customer ID only, I need to get the unique count. So I am specifying the actual customer ID here in selected column DAX, and in selected column next to selected column DAX, and specifying the forecast table and with the customer ID. And so after that, in top of that, I am creating this distinct. So this DAX function where I am writing is, I'm creating a new table in Power BI. So if you can see here, I clicked on this new table. It created a new table here. On top of that, I have updated this measure. So it is generating me the unique customer ID here by combining these two columns. These two columns, it is getting appended, and this column and this column, it is getting appended like this. And this, and I'm getting the unique count from this column. So this is how one column we need to generate it, and from that we need to derive the distinct count here. So if you can see here, from this calculated table, right, I dragged here and I have dropped. I am getting the distinct count here from that column which I have created. So this is how we can give an explanation for this question. The next question is, how did you validate your report? So once if we prepare all the Power BI report, right? We need to validate the report, how the performance is, whether we have taken all the calculation correctly or not. So they have asked this question, how will you validate the report? So we can answer like this. So data source validation. We need to ensure all the data source are correctly connected or not. So whatever the column, the table name which we have taken from the backend data, right? Whether it is being pulled correctly or not, the table name is correct or not, and we need to validate our front end value with the back end value. Back end value, for example, if we are querying a certain scenario, that value should match with our visual value. So that is how we need to document it. In some test cases, if it is failing, we need to fix that failed case, and we need to document all the reports which we have. And data transformation validation, it is like we need to ensure all the transformation it has been applied correctly or not. If we would have done some merge, appending, and transformation in Power Query Editor itself, so we need to validate all those steps. And next is DAX measure validation. So DAX measure validation is we need to compare the DAX calculation with the manual calculation which we have, whether we have updated all the DAX measure correctly or not. Like this, we need to do a validation and we need to do the documentation. And visual validation is whether according to the requirement the visual is working or not, and we need to do the cross check for this slicer, this visual is working or not, and we need to fix the issue if it is not. So those validation we need to do it. And here user testing means, for example, at a time if a client 10 to 15 people have logged into the same report, how the performance will be. So for that testing, what we need to do is we need to call all of our team members, like almost like 10 users. We need to log in at a time and we need to test the report whether it is performing correctly or not. And we need to capture the minutes, how much minutes it's taking for each and every clicks, for every slicer, how much minutes it's taking. So all the documentation we need to do it. And next is performance validation. This performance validation we can do it with the performance analyzer which we have. So this is how we can list it out and we can give an explanation for this question. Next question is, what is summarized DAX function? We can give an explanation like this. Summarized DAX function is used to return all unique combination of values based on the column selected. And it is a table level function. It will generate a new table. Rather than referring to the main table every time, every time when we are jumping to the main report, it is not a optimized way. So for that, we can create some tables and we can refer to that table whenever we need it, instead of jumping to the main table every time. So this is one of the optimized technique which we can use by using this summarize function. And the next question is, if we have 10 developers and 500 users, for 500 users, they need to see the report. What we can do it. So for 500 users, we can't able to give the license, right? We can share the link, and in the workspace level, we can give the access, say that like viewer access, we can give it. So this is what the explanation, we can answer this question. The next question is, if we have inactive relationship between the table, how we can connect those tables. So in this example, if we can see these two tables having an inactive relationship, this yellow dotted line is there, no? That is an inactive relationship. So how we can get the value when we have the inactive relationship. So we can use the user relationship DAX function. So I needed the sum of sales. So for that, we in calculated with a combination of this calculated function, inside the calculated function, we can mention the sum of sales. And then in filtration section, we can use this user relationship DAX function, and we can mention those two keys which is creating an inactive relationship. So it is a temporary relationship, right? So we can mention those temporary relationship key here, and it will provide the sum of sales for this uh, DAX. So this is how we can explain this question. This question is, if we have more than 500 million rows of data, how will you refresh this data if we are using import mode to connect the data? So to answer this question, we can tell them like we can use incremental refresh to refresh the data. So incremental refresh means instead of refreshing the entire data set, we can refresh only the subset of the data. For example, if we have 10 years of data, we can get the confirmation from the client, and we can store only 5 years of data. In that 5 years, only say last 6 months or 3 months data we can refresh it by using the incremental refresh setting. So we can see how we can do that incremental refresh in Power BI. We need to go to Power BI desktop. In that, click on transform data. Once if we click on transform data, we need to go to home and click on this manage parameter. Once if we click that manage parameter, this dialog box will be visible. So in that, you need to create two parameters by clicking this new option here. So one is range start and range end. So why we are creating these two parameter means, so if we can see what we have specified here. Later I will tell you what is the reason to create this parameter. So in range start, specify the name as range start only. And in click date slash time, and in suggested value keep as it is, like any value. In current value, specify any forecasted date, like 1st Jan 2030, or anything which you require. The forecasted date you can specify. In range end also, in name section, you name it as range end, and type date or time, and in suggested value any value, and specify the current value as same 01 Jan 2030, like that you can specify. Why we are creating this is, without creating any parameter like this, if we are creating any incremental refresh in the fact table, if we click on close apply, right, it will take some time to refresh it. And this 500 millions of record, which is stored in the Power BI desktop level, right, it will throw an error like it is having a limited capacity, so you can't able to store this much of data. So for that purpose, what we are doing is, initially we are creating these two parameter, and we are restricting the data to the certain date. So we are given this forecasted date, right? What it happens is, I will tell you one by one. After creating this parameter, go to the fact table, click on the date column. Here, date column is order date. So click on this down drop down. Click on this date or time filter function here, drop down here. Click on custom filter. So once if we click on custom filter, this dialog box will be visible. Here is after or equal to range start. You can specify the parameter here, and is before range end, you can specify, and click on OK. So what it does is, it filters only for this range. So basically, logically, what it happens, nothing it will get filtered. Forecasted data we have specified here in the parameter, right? So nothing will be visible in the Power Query editor level in the fact table. Logically, in what we are doing is, we are making this table as empty. Only from the Power BI level, we are taking only the visuals and the calculations. So only these things we are going to take it, and then on top of that, we are doing the incremental refresh, and we are doing the refresh in the SQL Server and the tabular. Like, so we can see one by one. Once if we done this, after this setting, we need to click close and apply. So it will take only fraction of second, because we have fixed that parameter, right? It doesn't have any data in the backend in the Power BI level. So it will take only the fraction of second to close and refresh the file which we have, PBX file. And in the Power BI desktop, you need to right click on the table which you have, fact table. For currently, for example, we have a fact table. Right click on that fact table, click on this incremental refresh. there will be a dialog box here, and then click on the respective fact table. For this example, I have taken this orders as a fact table. Here, we need to specify how much data we need to archive. So, if we have 10 years of data, we need to check with client like we can store only 5-year data or 3 years data. So, based on that, we can mention here. If they specify 5 or 2 years, we can specify here, and we can refresh the incremental refresh only for a specific days or month. So here, for example, I have given only 3 days. So like this we can give. So basically in the back end, instead of storing 10 years of data, it stores only 5 years. And instead of refreshing all those for 10 years of data, it will refresh only for 3 years. Like that, we need to give a setting, and we need to click on apply. Once it is done, what we need to do, we need to publish the report in service. So once we publish the report in service, go to the workspace setting, which is there in the workspace. Under connection link, you will find this link. Once you copy this, right, you need to log into Tabular Editor. Click on this icon, which you have, which you are seeing here now. Click on this. After clicking it, your one dialog box will open. In that, in server, you need to paste that link which you have copied here, and you need to give your authentication by clicking this option, Windows Integrated or Azure AD login. So once it is done, you need to go to the respective fact table which you want to do the incremental refresh. Right click on that, click on this apply refresh policy. After that, whatever the incremental policy which we have specified here, no, in the Power BI, like 5 years, 3 days. So that partition, it will display here. This is just a screenshot which I was taken it from net. But actually, whatever the special setting which we have specified in an incremental refresh, like 5 years, 3 days, that partition it will display here in a tabular editor. Once it is done, we need to log into SQL Server. In server type, you need to click on Analyst Service. In server name, paste that link which you copied from Workspace. Authentication, just select this one. Azure Active Directory Universal with MFA, and update your credential. Click on connect, and again go to the factor table. Right click on that. Click on partition, and in partition, after clicking partition, this dialog box will open. Once it is open, you will find all the partition. This also I have taken it from the net, but whatever the incremental refresh which we have given in the desktop level, 5 years, 3 days, that partition it will display here by clicking one by one. Like for example, 2011, I click here. We need to click and click on this green color. After clicking this green color, click on OK. Once it is done, this dialog box will open. After that, we need to click the respective 2011. Here in this screenshot, it is like customer. Click on that. In the mode section, click whatever the client requirement is, like process full load or data or default. Once it is clicked, you need to click OK. All the partition we need to run one by one. So after refreshing all the partitions, your partition had been refreshed successfully. So once it is done, if you go and check in your workspace now, your refresh will be done successfully. All the data, whichever it's available in the backend, it will be reflected in your Power BI service. We can check the report. So this is how we can implement this incremental refresh. Like step by step, we can explain it if they ask it in interviewer, if they ask it in detail. So this is how we can explain this question. The next question is the below measure is correct? Can we write the measure like this? So they have specified this measure, whether it is correct or not. Actually, what it does is in the filter expression, right? They have specified a measure and they are giving a filter here. So we should not give like this. So we can give an explanation like this. It is not valid because calculate doesn't directly take a condition in the way you specified. Instead, Calculate is used to evaluate an expression in a modified filter context. So instead of a filter function, they have used this measure and they are directly filtering it. So it doesn't work. So we can specify like this. We can use the calculate function. Within that calculate function, we can use a measure. After that, in the filter function area, we can use this filter DAX function and we can specify the table where we need to filter it, and we can specify the measure, and we can specify this DAX function. So this is how we can explain this question as well. The next question is, can you tell us the limitation of a direct query mode? So we can list out these 3 points. We can't see the date field in Power BI desktop, limitation in transformation, limitation in DAX function. We can list out these 3 points and we can explain them. So this is how we can explain all these questions. So hope this session is useful to you all. Thank you.